when we had the discussion about the GED and the test score. Does that kind of thing concern you? That we have a child who just finished what would be the 10th grade in public school, is enrolled in college, has college level scores or almost college level scores on the GED the first time they take it, and that we have, the state of Arkansas has them placed on the maltreatment register for education neglect for that child?
So let me answer for the DCFS side, if you don't mind. For the DCFS side, we have differential response in place. I think I provided you, Senator Clark, and maybe others some information on educational neglect and what those numbers are as far as people go on the registry, because we have, and this was pre-me, I don't want to take credit for this, but the department has made an effort to triage those educational neglect hotline calls, so that a worker goes out and works with the family, and those are not investigated. So moving forward, we do have mechanisms in place for educational neglect where we work with the family, we try and figure out why the child's not in school. If it's a homeschooling case, handling that appropriately so that we recognize, we support families homeschooling their children. And so really working with those families, not investigating them and putting them on the registry. So those are our policies that are in place with differential response to handle educational neglect in a different way.
Okay. Director, doesn't fairly common, I'm not going to say every day, but it happens often enough that I think y'all have a name for it, that in an appeal, when parents appeal a true finding, that sometimes we don't send our attorneys, that we don't, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about when they have an attorney, not when they don't have it, but that we don't show up.
Are you talking about the Office of Chief Counsel? So like the parent has an attorney, but the Office of Chief Counsel.
I'm just talking about that in the case of an appeal, that there are cases where we just default.
Oh, you're saying, I think I know what you're talking about. You're saying when the department decides to do a do not defend?
Do not defend, thank you.
Yes.
So we do have those cases.
Yes, I do not know the numbers, and I have not signed one since I was director.
Okay. So, Major Stayton, do you have any concern about a child who scores college ready or almost college ready that we have on the maltreatment list as educationally negligent, the parents?
Well, it's my understanding that the case is still in the appeal process. Therefore, their names are not on the maltreatment registry.
Is there a reason that the state would continue with all of our resources to pursue that?
Well, I mean, it's in the appeal process. So, I mean,
which means we want them on the list. If they're trying to get off the list, if they're appealing, and we're continuing to fight it, then we want them on the maltreatment list.
Correct.
I need to step in here. I think
I wasn't trying to go to specific.
I think we're there though. I think I really appreciate it if we could.
But that is the kind of thing that a legislative committee, and I would prefer that it was in private. Okay, again, not because I've got secrecy, but because there are so many privacy things. We've had these discussions, that we all care about protecting these families and children. But that is the kind of thing that I think one would question is why would we, and the other question I would ask, and no one has to answer it, is if this child was in public school, is there any way in the world that there'd be a finding of educational negligence? And I think we all know what the answer to that is.
I think everything is case specific, and to comment any further would be a violation of the statutes you're trying to comply with.
And again, I wasn't trying to get to specifics. I was asking, it was the major that went to specifics. I was asking, would it concern us? Y'all can't get past the individual case. Would it concern us as an agency, as a state, as a legislative body, that we would ever have someone who scores college ready and their parents are educated, and we say, well, that was back then, but we still have the full resources of the state. Now I'm getting specific.